From CW6 in Phoenix, it's Politics in the Yard with Jaime Molera. Tonight's guests, Arizona Charter Schools Association President and CEO Eileen Sigmund, plus Vent or Veto, and a new game we call Term Limits. I'm Shep Wilson with DJ Filibuster, and ready to go pick up our guest is Jaime Molera. Jaime?
Thanks, Shep. Eileen's waiting for us, so I'll be right back. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Come on in. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Just a little bit of background.
Sure. I grew up in Richmond. I went to school at James Madison University and then transferred.
You did undergrad at James, because you went to Catholic University for law school.
For law school, right. Transferred to Virginia Commonwealth on scholarship because I was paying for school and because I wanted to be a journalist. So I started out as a journalist. So I applied for journalist positions all up and down the East Coast, all around Texas, and ended up going to Fort Myers, Florida. And so they had a job interview for me, and I had to do a story. It was really tough. I had to go out on a boat, and I had to cover manatees. I never even knew what a manatee was. It was such a learning curve. And so I wrote the story, and I got the job, and I moved to Fort Myers, Florida, and knew nobody. I did a story about two boys that rode cross country on a bike.
Right.
So I went back to my publisher and I said, listen, I think I'm going to get out of this field. I really appreciate all the opportunities, but I want to go to law school. But first, I want to ride a bike across country, and I want to do it with a charity organization. Will you match whatever I raise, will you match me 1-to-1?
Right.
So the publisher said yes. So I rode from Seattle. I got on a bike and I rode from Seattle to New Jersey.
You rode from Seattle to New Jersey?
Yes, from Seattle to New Jersey.
Okay, I'm still trying to process that. You rode from Seattle to New Jersey.
Right.
How long did it take you?
It was 48 days with 8 days of rest.
Fast forward into becoming, honestly, one of the leaders in education policy, and particularly being a part of one of the largest, probably the largest charter school system in the country.
When they recruited me, it was a 4-month interview process.
Wow.
And I was
And you
interviewing
wanted
them.
it, so you wanted that job. I mean, you were willing to stick around to say, I want to do this.
Well, I interviewed them as much as they interviewed me. It was building it, working on the strategic plan, and really looking at why charters were created and trying to build an association to fulfill that mission.
So some of the stuff that you do to release the pressures, I've heard a number of things. You just did, or the Ragnar, or you run the Ragnar before, which is a crazy run, right? Explain that.
So you're talking about personal pressure. So yes, so Ragnar out in the McDowell Mountains, and it's a 24-hour run where you have a team of 8. And you run 3 different legs. And so typically you run 2 at night, 1 at like 2 a.m.
Right.
And you hope your headlamp does not give out because it's in the dark.
It's pitch black.
It's pitch black.
How many miles would a
So
typical runner run?
It's about 3 legs of 6 miles. So it's about 15 to 18 miles over the course of 24 hours.
So the stuff at the legislature is nothing compared to the stuff that you do in your
on a
in
daily
your fun
basis.
time.
Yeah, on a daily basis,
Yeah.
I'm out on the mountain at like 5 a.m.
Wow.
4 Gila monsters I've seen.
Now I also hear some of the ways that you cut loose is that you're a big Grateful Dead fan.
Oh no, my husband is. Okay, yes, I have in my college years. Not so much now, but.
So you're not a Deadhead, or you are a Deadhead?
Okay, well.
Or you're a semi-Deadhead?
I was in the past, yes, and I still I
There's
have
no such thing as being in the past, you know, it all comes out.
It is one of my Sirius radio channels.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, well then you are.
Yes.
And I also heard that you all have a very serious wine collection. You have your own wine cellar.
Stefan wine cellar.
That is nice.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. And what's great about that is learning, really, they're farmers. Going over to California and meeting these farmers who
So
are
you actually
wild
go
story.
to the vineyards? And
We absolutely do.
Wow. So you take it you don't just drink it. You actually research
Oh.
it. You understand it.
Right. Yeah, we
Wow.
go visit. We know the winemakers. We don't have wine in our wine cellar that we can't personally tell you we've been to the
Is that right?
winery.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
That's impressive.
it's interesting.
So what is the best wine for dealing with the legislature?
Ooh,
Boone's Farm?
yeah, no. I think it has to be red. I think it definitely has to be a red.
Okay.
And it probably has to come from a certain appellation. So it has to be from Howell Mountain. So I'd say O'Shaughnessy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So everybody knows O'Shaughnessy. Once you deal with the legislature, that's
Where you want to go.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, the alcohol content high on that.
Of course, it's
Okay.
red, yes.
Hopefully this ride wasn't too nerve-wracking for you.
Jaime and Eileen are in the building. More Politics in the Yard is coming up.
Well, welcome to Politics in the Yard, and what we're trying to do is have a feel that it's almost like talking in the yard with your family about politics, except without the booze and the name calling, of course.
Right. Your family.
Yes, we don't even talk politics in my family for that reason. So tell us a little bit about the Arizona Charter Schools Association.
The Arizona Charter Schools Association is 20 years old, and we are the backbone and support of our charter schools. And our mission is really to support the high-quality charter schools and support equity among our charter students and all our public students, and the autonomy and freedoms that our charter schools have been afforded to do the great work they do with their students, and then finally be a strong, sustainable organization that's a leader.
You've been in place for 20 years, and charters have grown now to about 170,000 kids attend charter schools.
Correct.
Close to about 600 schools-ish
Right.
or so. But yet you still have a lot of controversy around charter schools. You have a lot of folks that would be, I guess, identified as in the traditional public school system and school districts that say charters take our money away. How do you respond to that?
I say that choice is a fundamental right in Arizona for families to choose what's the best fit for their student. Sometimes it may be the district school down the block. Sometimes it may be that specialty art school, that specialty STEM school. We are fortunate in Arizona to have many choices to be able to match our child's academic strengths to our schools.
A lot of charter operators, however, have talked about how the funding structure, for them, they don't believe it works because they don't have access to local property wealth.
Correct.
Explain that a little bit and what the issue is there.
Charter students are 100% funded by the state's general fund. District students have a mix of state general fund plus local property taxes that are either voter approved or just voter assessed, i.e. put on the your property taxes without your approval.
Okay, like bonds or overrides.
Bonds overrides or other avenues, desegregation dollars, which is about $300 million, does not get voter approval.
You've argued and have talked about the need for maybe having a one funding structure that would fit both charter schools and traditional school districts.
Well, actually, Governor Ducey
Okay.
has put that charge out to an advisory council called Classrooms First. And the charge to this council is one uniform, transparent formula that is equitable among students and revenue neutral.
But don't you think if it is the same funding model that you might lose the uniqueness of charter schools, and you might see the evolution of charter schools become more like traditional school districts? Do you have a fear that that might be the case?
Well, Jaime, that's only if we put all the regulations that are currently on our districts on our charter schools. We would argue that is not the path forward. We should actually trust our educators and monitor their outcomes.
And you've said this even for traditional school districts. They should have those kinds of freedoms as well.
Absolutely.
Right. The governor and the legislature recently passed the trust land for education, and there was a settlement as part of it. What do you think of that plan?
I think that it needs to pass at the ballot, that we were part of the lawsuit, but we were in the background. We were an intervener. And so we agreed with the settlement, and we believe that that is a past due bill. We need to pass it at the legislature on May 17th, 2016. Everybody needs to get out and vote. And then we need our path forward to really grow our state to be the economic powerhouse that we can be, and that we are in many respects.
So you have done something that I think is very unique, in that as an education association, you were very aggressive about closing or wanting to close quote unquote bad schools. I mean, it seems to me that as an association, you want to grow members, not take away members. So why did you go down that path?
When you look at the reason charters were created, we were created to improve student achievement and provide parents a choice, families a choice in education. And those schools that are chronically underperforming aren't serving the market. And so we supported the closure of chronically failing, underperforming schools that just aren't going to make Arizona into a great state by our students.
Do you think some people were arguing that you're just closing schools in poor areas that don't have access? Or does the data
We're
match
sort of
that?
data geeks. We've built up to be a data powerhouse, and we monitor and work through those issues. The other thing is that charters are improving. Right now, we are rock stars in some of our academic gains.
Now, some of the critics have contended that charters will, in a sense, either cream kids as far as getting the cream of the crop.
Right.
Or even creaming teachers, that they're just getting the best teachers and that it's not a fair system. How would you react to that?
Well, it's choice. So we have open enrollment and it's lottery. So if a school fills up, then there's a lottery and you get in by chance. So what we say is we can't control who comes to us. When they get to our doors, though, we can control the process, and that needs to be fair, that it's open enrollment, that it's a lottery. And I will tell you that we have 2 autism-focused charter schools. They need to take all students that come to their door, but Arizona Autism obviously has a focus on students with autism.
What are the issues that you see on the horizon for K-12 education? I mean, what are some of the big things?
Funding. Did I say funding?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, is it funding?
Right, you've got it.
Okay, funding.
Everyone talks about Arizona being low in funding. What they don't talk about is we are #1 in student growth across the country. So when you look at the number of students that we are growing in Arizona, we can't keep pace.
So, last question very briefly. In 10 years, do you think charter schools will be as controversial? Where do you see charter schools going in 10 years from now?
In 10 years, what we see is a diverse school choice option, and we see our charters flourishing, and we see families blurring the lines between what a district school and a charter school is. They just know that they have a great school in their neighborhood.
Well, Eileen, thank you so much for being with me today and having this interview. Appreciate
Thanks,
it very
Eileen.
much.
Okay, wait, Eileen, you're not off the hook yet. Next, we're going to put our guests to the test as I hit the streets to get random questions from you, our viewers. It's a segment called Vent or Veto. Up next, as Politics in the Yard continues.
How quickly can you pack a bag?
Buckle up for a comedy road trip. It all starts in New York with King of Queens and How I Met Your Mother. Then the Midwest for Mike and Molly and the Middle.
Still don't know why we didn't just drive.
Back east with Friends. Then Chicago for another Mike and Molly.
This is exciting.
One last time to New York with Two Broke Girls. And finally, California with 2.5 Men.
Wait, how are we doing on gas? We're okay. I've been doing a lot of coasting.
It's Coast to Coast Comedy. Weekdays starting at 3 p.m. on CW6.
Okay, Eileen, now let's play Vent or Veto. We're now on the streets. We're going to get random questions from our viewers. You can either hold up the vent sign and answer the question, or you can hold the veto sign and Jaime will have to answer for you. Let's play Vent or Veto.
Will the governor's plan for education help Arizona schools?
Yes, absolutely yes.
Would you ever want to run for a public office?
I would absolutely love to run for public office. However, my family would never allow me to run for office, so the answer is no.
It's a very smart family.
Yes.
Is the legislature as hard to work with as people say?
No, Arizona legislature is absolutely a delight to work with. It just takes some time.
That's a great answer.
Who's your role model?
Wow. I would say Alexander Hamilton. He was somebody that came from nothing and created what became our economy. Just an amazing individual.
If you had to vacation in one place for the rest of your life, where would it be?
Arizona, in the mountains and the streams and all around, it's the most beautiful place in the world.
If you win the lottery, what's the first thing you would do?
I absolutely know because I dream of that all the time. So let's see, I'd probably start my own foundation and I'd focus on Arizona and focus on K-12 issues and K-12 problems and work collaboratively with our other great Arizona foundations to solve many of our pressing issues of our children.
You better hope the pot's pretty big for that.
Yes, I'm thinking some of the past winners, they've won a lot.
If you could live the life of a celebrity for one day, which one would you choose?
Probably, well, George Clooney, because he's so interesting on what he does on a global basis. But I do happen to think some of our Supreme Court justices are celebrities. So I would probably want to live one of their lives, like when Sandra Day O'Connor was the Supreme Court justice, because some of their issues are so fascinating.
What food do you refuse to eat?
Beets.
No explanation necessary.
Right.
Beets.
Doesn't everybody hate beets?
If you can choose your own name, what would it be?
My own name, it would have to be something like Jaime V or something, something with a number attached to it. I always like Henry V, so my middle name is Alfredo, so maybe Fred V.
Nicely done, Eileen and Jaime. Coming up next, I'm going to return to the studio where we'll team up for a game called Term Limits. That's next on Politics in the Yard.
All right.
Supreme Court, not quiet.
Don't you play with me today.
That's not my question.
You be quiet.
It's Extreme Court.
Where did you think you were going to lunch? You will come in the court.
With courtroom shows that unleash justice the CW6 way.
How dare you?
A boatload of bad behavior.
You shouldn't have left her down there. It's that simple.
And the judges who lay down the law.
Good luck to you.
Case closed.
Extreme Court, back-to-back courtroom craziness. Weekdays beginning at 8:30, only on CW6. TV, only better.
Roberto the Bailiff.
It's time to play Term Limits. We're going to split up into two teams, boys versus girls. One person's going to hold a card up to their forehead, and it's going to have either a political term or phrase. It's up to their partner to give them clues to figure out what it says. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, 30 seconds on the clock. Jaime?
All right, DJ Filibuster, let's do this.
You
gotta give me something.
Person that you would, if you don't want to do a duty, you would X to this person.
Veto, you would subjugate, you would...
Second half.
Gate. Substitute.
Almost. If you had a subordinate, you would give them duties. You're to them.
You're sub to them.
An indirect order to them.
Pass!
Someone who's up for a vote.
Oh.
Time's up. Nice try,
Wow.
nice try.
Delegate.
All right, time to switch it up.
Oh, that was not good.
Oh
We
my
only have to get
goodness.
one.
That was pretty,
All right, fingers crossed.
that
We
was
got
pretty
this, we got
embarrassing.
this.
I know, I
was gonna
know.
say, that was
Okay. 30 seconds on the clock. Ready, Eileen?
Yes.
Go. Okay, so this is a place here. It's a place where you go to get questions answered. Not a town, but a city. And here, this is my nice ballroom. Walk down my foyer. City Hall. Yay. Okay. Oh, so which election would this be? Not the second, but the primary? Yes. Oh, okay. So it's another word for Republican. So it's what debate?
It's the GOP debate.
Yes!
Nice job, guys.
3 stars! All right.
Wow, okay.
That's what I'm talking
That
about.
wasn't-
All right.
That wasn't
Switch
very
back.
good for our
Oh,
kids.
jeez. We got some making up to do here.
So they've got 3, I think, so far.
You guys have to catch up now.
All right.
This is me right here.
All right, DJ, it's your turn. Ready? 30 seconds?
All right, let's do this.
Go.
Somebody who talker of the casa. He's the
Speaker of the Casa.
Speaker of the casa.
Speaker of the House.
Yes. He's the big dog in Arizona. His name is Doug Ducey, and he's our. He's not the Speaker of the House.
No.
He's the
Mayor.
big wig, the big kahuna.
Oh my goodness.
Pass.
Fat.
When you have something that's you put it on the ground, you want to.
Oh, hey, at least you got a couple, right?
Oh
All
my
right,
goodness.
switch back.
This is. Oh my God. How did I not know that?
Ladies dominate. All right. All right. Final round to crush them all.
I know, we're relaxed.
Okay. 30 seconds.
So you go up here to run your bills. In DC, you have to go up a
Staircase?
no
Elevator?
to get to the building. It's the name of the building. Has a big spire on it.
White House?
And where bills are passed, it's called with the state government, where the state government pass.
Yes.
Okay, this is when you talk, and stop bills.
Lobbyist?
No.
I gotta tell you. DJ.
Just me.
DJ.
Oh, DJ!
Filibuster.
Well, I still think we.
You guys got it.
Yes.
You guys got it.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Yes. Good job. And rock stars. Woo!
So I want to thank Eileen Sigmund for being a guest and a great sport, and you can see why she's a powerhouse in education policy. As always, Shep Wilson, I want to thank you. I don't thank you for beating us today, but thank you nonetheless. DJ Filibuster, who needs to learn his answers better, but otherwise still has the best name in political shows. So thank you all again, and can't wait to see you next week on Politics in the Yard. Thank you.